Interactive Theater Carolina has been in existence on the campus of the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill since 2005. ITC uses scripted and improvisational theater to spark discussions about health, wellness, and social justice issues. ITC facilitates scenes and workshops on everything from eating disorders and depression to racism, homophobia, and sexual assault. We believe that when audience members engage the characters and conflict on stage, they are more likely to explore and change their own attitudes and behaviors.
There's something about seeing that image acted out that triggers a different response from the students.
It's different than just having someone come lecture at you. It's actually an interactive experience.
So it's not like watching a play where you just watch it and then leave. And it's not like watching a lecture where you could potentially ask questions, but it's actually interacting.
What makes this type of theater unique is that it gets people moving. Audiences really respond because it's interactive. They love the interactive part of it. And it's a powerful form of learning and engaging in dialogue because it's experiential and it's hands-on.
We've had other presentations at my sorority throughout the year. We have several each semester, and ITC is always the most anticipated, I think, just because it is such a different type of presentation to have.
It's not just didactic or presentation of information. It really involves them along the way. I think that's what catches students. It almost catches them off guard a little bit because they're expected to be talked at or talked to, yet they're suddenly part of the conversation.
We chose to work with Interactive Theater Carolina because we were interested in driving home the reality of HIV-related decision-making to students. You can talk about the AIDS epidemic, but engaging them in thinking as a group with over 400 students in the room can be a real challenge. So having a medium that brings student engagement forward is really helpful.
The scenes are built based around focus groups with individuals, depending upon what the topic of the scene is going to be. So there's a sense of authenticity and reality to them that I think rings true for the folks that then watch the scenes.
I don't even know how to explain it in words, the engagement that they give, because the entire time you're watching, the actors are so great that you're thinking this really is a real situation. I think everyone can relate to, or if they've not experienced it, they know someone who has.
The theater actually allows us to watch others reflect our behavior and keeps the conversation courageous.
The audience actually connects with the character enough to see that this is them. This is me up there. This is my uncle or somebody. This is my friend who I see. And once they make that connection, they see that these issues aren't just some idea that, or this technical jargon that we throw around on the college campus. These are actual real issues with real people.
A lot of times in academia we're engaging people on an intellectual level, and I think a lot of things about social justice, you need to also engage people on a feeling level and on an experiential level, and I think ITC is uniquely able to do this, and so it makes it very, very powerful.
After each ITC performance, we have a facilitated post-performance discussion, and that's really an opportunity for audiences to dig in deeper, to really think deeply about the issues that we've been talking about. And it's a place for them to make connections with what they've seen on stage to their own lives, and for us to help them make connections to larger social issues. And another thing we do in the post-performance discussion is connect audiences to resources, both on campus and in the larger world.
The sisters in my sorority have reacted really positively, and we always have a really great discussion. It actually usually goes beyond the time that we were planning for, because everyone is so excited to talk about it.
Students are heatedly talking about something that I've never heard anyone talk about before here at our center. So I know it's effective because I've seen it.
What we hear as feedback is how enjoyable it is, how comfortable it feels, and what a learning environment it creates for the faculty and staff. All the elements we want for difficult dialogues.
The last 2 years, I have to say, I was as impressed with our students' response to ITC as I was to the ITC actors themselves. So it says that ITC has the capacity to bring student voices to the table And I couldn't believe the number of hands that went up when there were comment times, which told me in a room full of people, sometimes who can be really cautious about what they say, ITC helped them break that threshold, get over being cautious and being willing to be engaged.
They walk away from the process still thinking about what occurred, you know, the topics that are covered there, whether it's issues around race, gender, alcohol, assault prevention, any of that stuff. They walk away from remembering and caring about and engaged with. Students want to then do something.
The past 3 years we've had ITC at our house, and I know afterwards for a few days at lunch or dinner we've continued talking about some of the stuff.
But I think the most substantial part was the discussion that it created afterwards, because it encouraged discussion not only at that moment in relation to the scene, but further discussion in our community about how to go about changing our environment.
In addition to this type of theater being really powerful in getting people to continue the conversation, we also know that it's had real impact on people's lives, and it's affected their sense of identity, their ability to be safe in their communities, and their health.
Interactive Theater Carolina has impacted many of my clients in my nutrition practice. One story in particular, there was one woman who was in a sorority, and Interactive Theater Carolina performed the eating disorders piece. And she came to me the next morning and was after seeing the piece, was able to self-identify that she most likely had an eating disorder. So for her, it was an eye-opening experience. She learned a lot. She became more motivated to take care of her health.
I did learn from it. Yeah, I may be more aware of situations like that going on around campus, and how to better handle myself if I come across that type of situation.
In everyday life, we go out and we see this stuff, but we don't really think about it afterwards. People would help bring to attention, like, this stuff does happen in real life, and we can do something to change it.
It was also uncomfortable at times, but in a good way, because it got people really thinking about what it was like to be in a situation like the characters.
ITC definitely broke me out of my comfort zone in a lot of ways. It challenged me, and it definitely made me a more open individual to the numerous identities that make human beings so complex.
Every time I do something like this, it gives me a little bit more confidence to actually do it in real life.
Folks that are involved, like the actors that are involved in ITC, I've had a number of conversations with folks who, as they read through scripts or as they are engaging in kind of learning how might a character respond to different questions that are posed, that it helps them gain a better understanding. And so it continues their own personal growth in the areas of multicultural competency and recognition of privilege and oppression and marginalization.
I love the power that acting has on people, how we have the power to change people.
It's given me the tools I need to create discussions here on campus, and not necessarily just here on campus, but also in my home and in wherever I am about social justice issues that may be presented.
And I probably learn more every Monday, every week in ITC than I have in any of my classes here at Carolina.
Our community wants to talk. They want to have these challenging conversations. They want to dig deeply into these issues. And ITC is an excellent way to do that because we uniquely engage students and audience members with real situations and real characters, and we offer facilitated conversations. In ITC, our motto is, do something with your theater. And we are.